YouTube, it has been a good day today. I'm not gonna hold y'all. Um, I've been quiet. I said I would make a video on the NBA previously, and I know this is gonna be gone uh probably by tomorrow because I gotta do my own stuff because I ain't got a barber out here that can cut my hair the way I need it to be. But I was waiting for the longest for. First of all, let me address something. Let me address the series so far that I've seen. I'm not gonna go into numbers with the other series yet, but because this video is gonna be about the Clippers and the Nuggets, but starting with Giannis and his Bucks. I'm gonna address this very clear because I've been seeing a lot of reports about how the Bucks are saying they willing to go into free agency and all that, or no, not free agency, luxury tax and all that, just to keep this man. Milwaukee, let me tell y'all something. Y'all got one more year. If y'all fail next year, Giannis is gone. And shout out to the legend of winning because Lowe pointed out something in his video that is very possible for my team to get Giannis. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but it's a very high possibility because for all y'all that know, the Warriors play chess while everybody else is playing checkers. They have what they got set up over there is great for them landing certain people, and a lot of people like to say Giannis ain't going over there. We said that with KD. When KD was gotten, even I didn't think they was gonna get him, but they got him. Giannis is in the same boat, and people say he gonna go to Miami and all that. There's multiple teams with abundance of talent that Giannis could go to, and it would only get exceptionally better. But, and I'm not being biased, because if you look at it all around, the best team for him to go to that will maximize his potential and bring out the best in him is gonna be the Warriors. There's no other team. With how smart that system is set up, that's his best shot. And with how they're setting up, because 2021, they might not get to the finals, but they will get to the playoffs. And they're going to start building back on the success that we saw in their past 5-year run before what happened with the Raptors in 2019. But they're going to get there because Giannis, right now, this is going to be a long offseason for him. Giannis got to get better in some type of way. He has to get better. He needs to, if he can't figure out how to shoot, which he showed he really couldn't, even though he was shooting threes all season. Giannis, you got to add a post game to your arsenal, my boy. You have to. You don't have a choice. You're not shooting threes as consistently as you could be, so you got to add that post game. Bucks, y'all on the stupid side because y'all gave up Brogdon for playoff performers that come up short and have done it for the past 2 seasons now. Bledsoe and Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton making me wonder how he became a all-star. Well, see, the voting for how the NBA is with the all-star selections, I really do believe they need to wait till the end of the season before they count who is an all-star and who is not, because being an all-star, just like getting all these other awards like Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, everything except the finals trophies. Because if you get to the finals, obviously the main awards in that are going to come. But for the teams that get to the playoffs, once you hear what teams got to the finals, that's when the awards need to be given out for who gets what. Because, I'm sorry, as great a potential, and I'm high on Giannis on potentially becoming the best small forward in the league, but right now it's not going to happen because of how he's been playing. He won Defensive Player of the Year, but then he got exposed in the playoffs. Milwaukee had the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense, I think, and they got exposed by the Heat. I'm not finna sleep on the Heat because Jimmy Butler is on my list of small forwards that I really, really like that are two-way players. Yeah, he's definitely up there. And what happened recently? Actually, I'm gonna say that for when I talk about the Clippers series. Jimmy Butler is up there. He is that dog. I'm gonna give him his props. He is that dog. All that hard work he been putting in, all the team switching he been doing. The Heat, even if they don't go far this year, which I'm high on them. My sleeper team was the Raptors. I told y'all. They failed. I'm not switching to sleeper teams because I already said what I said for the team this year. And that team already got knocked out. But the Heat have the potential to go far. But I'm a pump their brakes fast when it get to the Lakers because I don't see a team beating the Lakers. I'm sorry, I don't. Now they are on that list of sneakers that can get up there along with the Nuggets and knock the Lakers out potentially. But we gotta wait and see. Um, but yeah, what this is something. This is a format I hope they adopt because Middleton shouldn't have been an all. If you're gonna be an all-star, you got to be able to compete all around consistently when the times come for it. That's what makes an all-star or a superstar them. The greats of the past that I told y'all about in other videos that set the standard. Like for Giannis's position, the GOAT small forward to me, for bet all time is Scottie Pippen. There's a number of reasons I can name for that, but before people say, oh, he played with Jordan and all that, every great player needs help to win a championship. At least one person. Scottie was fortunate enough to get put on that team to win. Beside that, Giannis, to get to where he needs to get to, he's got to get to that Scottie level because he fell short. The Heat picked them apart the same way I think the Celtics picked them apart and the Raptors picked them apart at one point. Or no, the Raptors last year. The defense was very similar. Giannis is as physically as imposing as he is, and I'm not going to sit up here and say, because I remember when James Harden said, oh, I wish I could just be 7 foot and dunk. Giannis is a physical specimen. Yes, he is. But at this stage in the game, he has to become more skilled to get somewhere. And he needs a team around him that can push him to enhance his skills further. It's not going to be Milwaukee. If they fall short next season, it's not going to be Milwaukee. Moving on to the next series with I'm going to address the Lakers and the Rockets real quick. Any Rockets fans that really thought y'all had a chance to beat that team, please stop. James Harden is not a clutch performer in the playoffs. Being a Warriors fan, Harden has been knocked out by my team for the past 5 years. And a lot of people are going to be quick to say Steph Curry had all that help and all that. In 2015, it was Steph, Clay, and Dre. The core knocked them out first before they got KD. The core knocked them out. 2015, the core knocked them out. 2016, the core knocked them out. And as a matter of fact, the Rocket series was the series Curry sprained his MCL. And they still got knocked out. 2017, okay, the KD years is there. 18, the KD years is there. 2018 too, because a lot of people like to throw in there, oh, they would have won if they had Chris Paul. Let me tell those people something right quick. There's a picture out there. I wish I could post it on here on YouTube, but YouTube don't allow you to do that. If you follow me on Instagram, that'll be in the description. There's a picture on my Instagram of Iguodala's defensive prowess when he was guarding James Harden and Chris Paul. Iggy was clamping them up. He wasn't overly clamping them up, but the word clamp can be used in there because they shot poorly when they were defended by him. And then he got hurt. So the same people that make that quote of, we would have won if we had Chris Paul, I can say that same thing for the Warriors, that if they had Iguodala the entire time, the Rockets would have got eliminated a whole lot sooner. It wouldn't even went that far. And then in 2019, y'all really had no excuse because Kevin Durant got hurt and the core knocked y'all out. There was nothing in there. 2019 was a very big year going into that, describing the Rockets, because the Warriors were facing a lot of criticism up to that point. Once they lost Kevin Durant, a lot of people thought they wasn't even going to beat people past that. And then they snuck in there to beat the Rockets and the Trailblazers, and they almost beat the Raptors without Kevin Durant. If Clay never got hurt, there's a very big what if in there that they could have won because Steph was going off getting boxing one and triple team, and Clay was just game 6. Clay is a real thing. He was going off too. If Clay didn't get hurt, they could have potentially won that series. And even if Kevin Durant would have left, that would have validated that the Warriors did not need Kevin Durant to win. Moving beside that, when y'all went and got Westbrook is, I'm not going to sit up here, I'm not going to bash him too much. Westbrook is a great player. He's a generational talent. But at this point, we know what he brings to the floor. Again, legend of winning. Shout out to him. What some of the numbers that I've seen in Legends videos about how Westbrook performs in the playoffs, really they don't surprise me too much, but there are some head scratchers. Russ does have a clutch gene to where he steps up to big moments as best as he can, but he doesn't have the efficiency he needs to really call himself a clutch player. And Westbrook has been getting knocked out of the playoffs since Kevin Durant left. There was no way in hell James Harden wasn't going to make that any much better because James Harden been getting knocked out too. James Harden has had a very good amount of help over the years. Personally, I feel like when he had Dwight Howard, if they would have just pushed their problems aside, that could have been a team to go forward because Dwight Howard is on the same team with LeBron, dominating in his own way. He could have been doing the same thing with Harden if Harden wasn't stubborn the way he was, or that management over there wasn't as stupid as they were. But it can't change it. So Rockets fans, hope for next year because, and if for a personal opinion, y'all need to get rid of Westbrook because it's not gonna work. Russ is the biggest flaw in y'all system. Russ can't shoot. Y'all got him to add a new element to y'all game, but the foundation of that system is still shooting. And whatever this next coach y'all get, because D'Antoni is gone, I already know that. Whatever system y'all try to implement, it's going to have to revolve around Harden and another person because Westbrook's not going to cut it. James Harden's going to have to bring back his mid-range game, get a post game, and go from there. Y'all leave Westbrook in that offense, y'all going to fail once again because at this point, Russ isn't trying to figure out how to shoot. If he was, Russell Westbrook need to really reconstruct his whole jump shot to make a difference because that is too stiff. Everything about him shooting, he can shoot middies, but threes, 20 you're below 30, 20 some from three. You're on the list of worst three-point shooters of all time. No, sir. That's not going to work. That's contradictory as hell. Lakers versus Blazers. Dame, in that discussion, I'm bringing everything in that I should have talked about when it happened, but I was just observing, doing all my observations and formulating my opinions before I put it in the video. Lakers versus Blazers. That little one sneaky game because going into that series, I know Dame was the bubble MVP. That don't really mean nothing to me. Like, for the individual awards, and this is where my opinion differs from a lot of people. I'm going to look at, when it comes to evaluating a player's legacy, especially a star player, like LeBron, at this point in his career, I'm evaluating him getting to the finals and getting rings, getting more rings to his resume, because I do believe he can still do that. I don't believe he'll pass Michael Jordan in rings, but I do believe he can at least get him one more ring at most, 1 to 2. I'm going to give him that. But my evaluations on a player for a star caliber that claim they're star caliber players, or they're about that, your rings, your winning percentages, and your stats are last. Them 3 factors go into where I rate people personally. And LeBron is my second best small forward. I have him right behind Scottie Pippen because rings, stats, winning percentage. Going into that series though, because a lot of people have really been trying to say that Damian Lillard is the best point guard in the league. That'll never happen. No, it'll never happen. Dame is in the same boat, similar to Harden. Dame has been getting eliminated by either, I think there was one season Dame got eliminated by, the Blazers got eliminated by the Pelicans, I think. And then after that, they've been getting eliminated by the Warriors. He's in that same boat as Harden with that. No, there's no way. The top 2 guards to me that Dame and CJ McCollum have failed to get past over the years is Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And if it's not obvious, to me, Klay Thompson is the number 1 shooting guard in the league. He can't score the way Harden can with all the dribbles and stuff like that, or as best as he can score in his own way as best as anyone without all the fancy dribbling. Because a lot of people think you put Klay on his own team, he can't do stuff. And you might be right about that because Klay, it will force Klay to adapt his game. If he was going to get traded to another team or go to another team, he would have to add elements to his game. Maybe 2 more elements to be productive. But on the Warriors, best at what he does. What made me put Clay over Harden, because Harden was supposed to be the best shooting guard in the league by a lot of people. Not looking at his, obviously he can score. Best shooter, one of the best shooters in the NBA. Defense. Clay is one of the best two-way players in the league. I'm not going to say he's the best, but at the shooting guard spot, Clay is the best two-way shooting guard that is not in the contention for Defensive Player of the Year, and hasn't been for a while, but he should have had more all-defensive teams to his name and whatnot. Should have by now. It's just like Scottie Pippen back in the day. Scottie Pippen, he had all those all-defensive selections to defensive teams, but he was never in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, I don't think. And he never won the award. That's crazy. Because back then, it was Mike obviously was top dog when it came to defense for the Bulls, but Mike and Scottie was the tiers of defense back then. And Mike won one. He should have won another one, maybe more. But Scottie should have been right behind him. To me, it should have been a back-to-back thing. Once Scottie started coming into his group, it should have been Mike winning Defensive Player of the Year, then Scottie back and forth, but it didn't happen. Something similar with Clay. The only other person I would put over Clay in terms of defense at the guard, the shooting guard, because there's really only two people for me, is Jimmy Butler. You can make the case he's a forward now, but he was originally a shooting guard. It's Jimmy Butler and Marcus Smart. Those are dogs. I won't play with nobody. They are dogs. And Marcus Smart is just starting to find his groove, and he's increasing his value as a player and all around for his team. I'm happy for him. As much as he used to flop, and maybe sometimes still flop, I cannot deny his prowess on the defensive end. And Jimmy Butler, y'all know what Jimmy about. So for them to, you can't get past Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. You're not going to get past LeBron with the best power forward in the league. Dame, I'm sorry. I never had Damian Lillard in my top 5 for point guards in the league. Not me. Maybe top 10. Because mine, I'm not going to talk about that in this one, but he wasn't in my top 10. I'm not going to deny what Dame is great at, but Dame is in that same boat as Trae Young, where they are incredibly gifted scorers and playmakers phenomenally, but they suck at defense. You cannot hope to get to the championship without having your star player has to have some form of defense, because they set the tone on that. They have to. You have to be at least good, decent, or neutral. Damian Lillard is not one of those things. And CJ McCollum, doggone sure, not either. So I don't know where they thought they was going to get with that. Next. Have fun at home. Try again next year. This is the best team Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum had too thus far, and they wasn't getting past LeBron. Reset for next year. The Celtics versus the Heat series. I saw it tonight. The Heat won the first game. That's hard for me to say who I'm going for with that. Actually, no, it's not. I am going for the Heat because I acknowledge that the Celtics have the better team, but the Heat have more dogs on that squad. The Heat are literally the embodiment of a team in the NBA that have nothing to lose right now, because nobody even expected them to get this far. Nobody expected them to get this far. No one. They have nothing to lose. And when you are pushed into that corner where you don't have nothing to lose, and you're being led by Jimmy Butler, who's been I have nothing to lose type of player his entire life, with the right pieces around him, you can go far. I saw a post when I was on Instagram the other day with a comparison of the 2020 Heat remind this person of the 04 Pistons. That's a very good comparison. The Pistons had nothing to lose. Nobody expected them to win the championship that year, especially against Kobe and Shaq. Now, you could take into account, yeah, they had that little scuffle involved in there and whatnot, but still, they won. I don't think they would have won now if Kobe and Shaq wasn't feuding, but they took advantage of the feud and they used it to their advantage, and they pieced together everything wonderfully to win. The 2020 Heat don't have that same, they don't have the same thing going in their favor where there's scuffles on the other side, but the way that they're constructed, they got that same dog mentality to push them far. If they keep playing the way they're playing smartly, they might surprise the Celtics. They might. That's my pick on that one. Now, the point of this whole video, and I'm so happy to talk about it. I'm going to try not to bash. I'm going to try not to be too biased. I'm going to try to keep it real and a buck. Nuggets versus Clippers. For one, I'm tired of people talking about Kawhi Leonard as much as they've been talking about him. Because I'm going to give people some credit. I'm going to go back in history for a bit. I'm going to give people some credit in 2017 with Kawhi, because that's when I feel like he started breaking out. A lot of people say the Warriors wouldn't have won that year if Kawhi wouldn't have got hurt. One game. They was blowing him out by double digits, by like 23. That's one game. We don't know how the rest of that series would have turned out because anything can happen. And as far as the Warriors were going, KD said Kawhi gives him the most problems, but that doesn't necessarily mean Kawhi was going to shut down Kevin Durant. On top of that, there wasn't anybody on that team. If you were to shut down, the key with the Warriors, every playoffs or every finals they've been in, regardless of if Kevin Durant was there or not, the key to winning against the Warriors is slowing down Stephen Curry. Or at least either you slow him down or you slow down the production of the other people. 2015, nobody slowed Steph Curry down. Iggy won the finals MVP. But Iggy made it very clear Steph probably should have won that because the averages were in his favor. The only thing he got the finals MVP for was slowing down LeBron mainly. That was the main incentive going into it. I don't think he even should have won that, regardless of how much he slowed down LeBron, because without Steph, they don't even sniff the finals. 2016. That was a crucial. Steph Curry still did his own thing, but you could tell he was slowed down a bit because, like I said, he sprained his MCL in the Rocket series, and he wasn't finna quit, so he decided to play through it. You could easily tell there was a difference between 2016 Steph and 2017 Steph because I tell people this all the time. Kevin Love is not a great defender. When Steph Curry struggles to get past Kevin Love and we know what he can do, there's a problem. Something is off with that because mentally Kevin Love ain't going to get in his head. So you could tell something was wrong. There was multiple factors that went into them losing that year. That they were slowed down. It wasn't on Steph too much like people try to say. It was more so on because in that series in 2016, as much as some people try to deny it, Bogut got hurt, knee injury. In the first game, I think Bogut got hurt. Like I said, Curry had a sprained MCL. He was still playing through it. And it didn't, as much as he tried to tell himself, it's not going to bother me too much. We don't know how much he was letting on. Iggy had back spasms, and then the deciding factor of that team, Harrison Barnes shot 3 for 32. The reason why Harrison Barnes got traded was because of how bad he performed in the finals. Because if Harrison Barnes at least made half of those shots, despite what was messing, despite the other factors, they potentially could have still won. Harrison Barnes only made 3 open looks out of 32. That's terrible. Most of his shots were open looks too, and he still couldn't capitalize. That's why he's gone now. So, going into it in 2017 with Kawhi after he hurt Zaza, that first game, if he didn't get hurt, they probably would have won that game. But you can't say that for the rest of the series because the Warriors still had the chance to start clicking because with that Spurs team, it was only 2 people you really had to worry about. It was Kawhi and LaMarcus Aldridge. I don't think nobody fears LaMarcus Aldridge is a great player, but he's getting older. If I'm the Warriors, I'm not fearing LaMarcus Aldridge as much as I would Kawhi. So it's really, you slow down Kawhi, you stop the offense. Simple. They had a good system going around them, but still, there's no guarantee they wouldn't have won that series, even just because they lost the first game. There was still a possibility they would have won. And then 2018, we didn't run into them, so I ain't got to worry about that too much. But 2019, at this point, because I don't hate Kawhi Leonard. Let me make that clear. I do not hate him. I do hate, however, how high people are trying to put him in the tiers of the like the top S tiers of the NBA. I hate people that are trying to do that. I not even hate. I strongly disagree with people that are trying to do that because Raptors fans at this point too. Let me throw this out at y'all too because y'all were my sleeper team. But I made this very clear at the beginning of the season. Y'all might get to the playoffs, but y'all not going to get to the finals. Kawhi Leonard was the reason why y'all got that far. No Kawhi, no repeat. I'm actually glad y'all lost too because it goes back to, and I'm not salty. I'm just looking at the realisticness of it. 2019, take away all those injuries. Warriors are either sweeping the Raptors or they're beating them in a five game series at most. That's not even close. Raptors fans, take some strong notes on that because like I said, I'm glad y'all lost. Y'all was not doing nothing without Kawhi. Siakam choked the mess out of y'all. I saw a little report of a reporter asking, so how does it feel to be the reason why y'all lost? Siakam couldn't answer that question. Not built for it. Kyle Lowry, I give him his props because Kyle Lowry is one of my favorite point guards in the league. Norman Powell stepped up as best as he could. OG Wananobi is coming around as a player. Terrence Davis, they have a plethora of great talent around them that hasn't come together yet. But undoubtedly, the star of that team was supposed to be Pascal Siakam. Couldn't come through. Next, carrying it over into this year. I told my boys at the beginning of the year, the two people who have the highest expectations this year is Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James. All these people try to say Kawhi can do everything. He can carry a team this, he can carry a team that. The leader of the Clippers was Kawhi. You still need the pieces. You had the pieces too. That team on paper was a great team constructed for the most part. The weakness of that team, they didn't have enough playmakers and they had too many people who could score the ball and there's only one ball. You're not going to win like that. And Kawhi is a team ISO type of player now too. Like I called at the beginning of the year, if Paul George don't perform on that team, they are not going to win. And it's going to be held as a dent on Kawhi Leonard's legacy with that. And that's exactly what it is now. Because Kawhi Leonard has lost now. I love Paul George. I think he's one of the most elite two-way players in the league. But he's not in my tops. Inconsistency held him back. Inconsistency is why they just lost. Because I wasn't even thinking about, like I said in the past, I told my boys this, that the Nuggets are on one of those teams that I view as a sleeper team to go far in the playoffs because, like, the Nuggets that's a lot of talent they have over there. I believe in the Nuggets. I do believe in the Nuggets. Jokic is the best center in the NBA. Starting the year off, I said it was between him and Embiid. Embiid got knocked out. And I have to hold that against him, even though he didn't, because I do believe if Ben Simmons was there, it wouldn't have been that bad, but ultimately they probably still would have lost because Ben is scared to shoot. That's the biggest weakness of 76ers right now. If they're not going to force Ben Simmons to shoot, they need to get rid of him and bring him, send him somewhere else where another team will force him to shoot or get rid of Embiid because that chemistry, what them two people got, that's not going to work. One person can shoot. The other person can't shoot at all, even though he practices it. Next, ship him out. You my star player. If you don't do what I ask you to do, you got to go, man. That's how I'm gonna look at it. If I'm the coach of Ben Simmons, either you start shooting or I'm gonna figure out how to get rid of you. Simple. I'm sorry, Embiid, but with that, Jokic stepped up. Jokic is the best center in the league right now. And he probably will continue to be as long as the Nuggets keep playing how they play. And then on top of that, Bobo has not developed yet. Michael Porter Jr. hasn't developed. When them two pieces start coming together and they stay healthy, no. That Nuggets team will be deadly. And if they get another shooting guard that fits the description next to Jamal Murray better, because Gary Harris is a 3-and-D person, but he's semi-inconsistent. They could find somebody more consistent. They going somewhere. I believe in that team. I didn't think they would beat the Clippers. I really didn't. But they did. And because I'm recording this on my girl phone, I said I would be looking at stats for this one. The Nuggets shot 38 for 77 on field goals, 49.4. That's team stats. The Clippers shot 34 for 90, 37.8 on field goals. Go to three-pointers. The Nuggets shot 13 for 37, 35.1 on three-pointers. The Clippers shot 9 for 35, 25.7 on threes. Free throws, they were average. They shot 12 for 16. That's probably what they should have been aiming for more. And meanwhile, actually, no, because the Nuggets shot 15 for 16, 93.8. So total rebounds, 53.11. Offensive for the Nuggets. Total rebounds for the Clippers, 37 and 12 offensive. Okay. 22 assists for the Nuggets, 21 for the Clippers, 5 blocks for the Nuggets, 3 blocks for the Clippers, 4 steals for the Nuggets, 8 steals for the Clippers, 20 turnovers for the Nuggets, 10 for the Clippers, 38 points in the paint for the Nuggets, 44 for the Clippers. Both had the same number of personal fouls. We go to the stats. Let's see. Look at the Clipper stats. Ibaka Subaks had 6 and 2, 6 points, 2 rebounds. Kawhi Leonard had 14 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Paul George had 10 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds. Patrick Beverley had 11 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. The dirtiest player on the Clippers team in Marcus Morris had 7 points, 6 rebounds. Montrezl Harrell had 20 points, 3 rebounds. Lou Williams had 7 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. JaMychal Green had 11 points, 6 rebounds. Shamet 3. And that's what we going with that one. Meanwhile, on the Nuggets side, Murray had 45 and 4. Jokic, 16, 13, and 22 rebounds. Harris, 14, 1, and 6. Jeremy Grant, 14, 1, and 5. Michael Porter Jr., 2, 7. You basically get the gist of what I'm saying. On the Clipper side, there is no reason why Montrezl Harrell should be leading your team in scoring when you have Kawhi Leonard for one. Paul George should not only have 10 points. Kawhi Leonard, as monstrous of a run as he's been having, should not have only 14 points. Y'all were destined to fail. And the weakness that was spoken about at the beginning of the year came back to bite y'all. This was supposed to be an all-time great defensive team. The weak link of this team, 2 of them. Trez is not a center, and that's the first weakness. Zubac is not a great center because he's not a great defender. He is not stopping Anthony Davis. He wasn't going to stop Jokic. Trez damn sure had no chance of stopping Jokic. And then you got, who is it? I saw a death lineup post at the beginning of the year. Or for 2K20, and it carries over into this year. And it was Lou Williams. No, it was Patrick Beverley, Lou Williams, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Trez. Lou Williams and Trez are the weakest people in that death lineup. That's the people I'm going to tell my team to attack. They can't guard nobody. They suck at defense. Lou Williams is a great 6-man. And he has a case to be the greatest 6-man of all time. But the person that I put up before him, who had a chance to be decent at defense with his ability, with his physical traits when he was in his prime, Jamal Crawford. 6'6", great physical stats. Lou Williams, 6'1", and a twig. Trez, 6'8", 6'7", 240. Okay, you're not small to an extent, but as far as weight goes, but size, you're small compared to centers. And I have to tell people this who, if you ain't figured it out already, the Clippers shouldn't even got past the Mavericks. Let's just keep that real right there. If Porzingis didn't get hurt, because Luka was tearing them up, if Porzingis didn't get hurt, the Clippers wouldn't even got to the second round. So they really got lucky with that one. So the fact that y'all got the Clippers fans, that y'all got kicked out, y'all haven't gotten to that far in the playoffs yet. And personally, I hope y'all organization does go somewhere at some point. But with Kawhi Leonard, I'm sorry, I'm glad y'all lost, because I'm tired of hearing about Kawhi being in that top tier as far as S-class of small forwards, because Kawhi Leonard is tier A. I'll give him that. But tier S is LeBron and Kevin Durant. And y'all know I don't like Kevin Durant. I'm going to talk about that in a different video. I don't like him as a more so person than player, because I'm not going to deny his talent. I'm going to talk about that in another video, though. But Clippers fans, I don't want to hear nobody, because Kawhi on that train over there, I don't want to hear nobody talk about Kawhi being top dog or being on par with LeBron no more, because he's not. He's not. LeBron handled his business. Shannon Sharp has been on y'all case the entire season, telling y'all, if Kawhi don't do this, he don't want to hear nothing about it no more. And now he's valified to talk about it now. He gonna make a video about it. Legend of Winning is gonna make a video about this. I'm gonna try to be the first one. I don't know if I'm late, but yeah, this wasn't, no, y'all failed expectations. Paul George inconsistency. Playoff P is not a thing. I don't want to hear it. Pandemic P, that's a thing. My boy was telling me Paul George need to be traded back to the Pacers. If Paul George ever does win a ring, his legacy is going to be a little bit dented, because them inconsistencies are going to come back to haunt him. Because you can make the case in 2019, they got eliminated because of he was hurt. He wasn't playing MVP level because of his shoulder. Maybe a little mental stuff going on up there. Okay. A little bit at the beginning of the season. Okay. You're still struggling. You get to the playoffs. Still struggling a little bit. I saw he had one good game. Maybe two. All of a sudden, people say playoff P is back. No, sir. Consistency is what carries you through the playoffs. Now, I would easily say playoff P is a real thing if from the start of the playoffs, if he was struggling in the regular season, but he kicked it up in the playoffs and was keeping it going throughout the playoffs, then I would say, okay, he might, oh yeah, he's something right now. And Kawhi would have been going off too. So yeah, they would have had a better chance. But no, playoff P was non-existent. Kawhi Leonard failed in the end when they needed him to as a leader. Monster highlights. 6 of 22 shooting. That's terrible. Bye-bye. That's a dent on your legacy. That's a dent. 2-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP. If anything, I look at that as payback. That's a stroke of luck hitting, coming back. Your luck ran out because you shouldn't have won last year. Nobody on the Nuggets was injured. You wasn't going to just sweep through that team easily without too much to worry about. No. Try again next season. I love talking about this. This is a good video, y'all. Let me know what y'all want to hear about some more, because I had fun making this video. I know it was very long, but this has been on my chest for a while because I've been paying attention to the entire season. I was really, really tired of hearing about this man being that far up there. Seriously. Bye-bye, Kawhi. Bye-bye, Paul George. Bye-bye, Clippers fans. Hey, and y'all need to get rid of Dirty Marcus Morris too, because y'all quickly became one of the most hated teams in the league with his play. And that's another reason why I'm glad y'all lost, because dirty play like that, no, you don't need to be no champion. Bye-bye. Have fun, guys. Stay safe. Wear a mask when you go outside. Pay attention to the protocols for COVID-19. And y'all be blessed. Bye.